these days apparently they're making it much more strict because many doctors have been opening private practices. Switzerland is tightening this regulation and they're issuing less and less licenses. Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video, and in this video I wanted to discuss about the different pathways you can have as a doctor. And in one of the pathways, it's that you can open your own private practice. Now I've seen this quite often. Most of the foreign doctors, what they do is they just stay in a hospital, but if you feel that working in a hospital is not for you, you can start your own private practice. Now how it works is slightly different. It's not like, let's say you're working for 2 years in a hospital and you suddenly feel I have to start my own private practice and you just rent a room and start a private practice. It doesn't work like that. Both in Germany and in Switzerland, the area, like the municipality or the local government, decides how many practices can be opened in a particular area. Like the town of Baden-Baden in Germany, where I used to live in, they just allowed for one private practice of mammography. So this particular private practice had an absolute monopoly on mammographies, and they were literally printing money. Because they had no competition. Nobody else was supposed to open a practice in mammography in that area. So they had absolute monopoly on this particular field. So this is how practices work. In a particular area, they let only a few practices be open. For example, 3 radiology practices or something. So if you want to open a practice there, you can't. You either join them, or you buy into the practice. This is also possible. When a partner quits, there's usually a position open, and there are several agents dealing in this kind of thing. Like if you want to join a practice, a radiology practice, or an orthopedic practice, it will usually be published, and you contact one of these agencies and they will find you an appropriate partnership in one of the practices. There are several private practices of doctors going into retirement, especially if you are a general practitioner. In German, it's called a Hausarzt or home doctor, Hausarzt they call it. So they'll have practices in towns and villages. And when they go into retirement, they usually sell their practice and you can buy this practice. And for doctors, because it's a sure way of earning good income, there are several banks financing this, especially the Ärzte und Apotheker Bank. It's a bank which is involved mainly in financing this kind of transactions. That is, you want to buy into a practice or you want to buy a practice, then you can, once in a while, the local area says, okay, we need to open another new practice here, and they will put in an open offer saying that we are planning on opening a private practice in this area. Usually it's got to do a lot to do with connections, and those people who are aware of it first usually end up getting this so-called KV-Sitz. KV-Sitz is the license to open a practice. Now and then they do release new KV licenses, but most of the time you have to buy already existing practices if the person is willing to sell, or you become a partner in one of the practices. In Switzerland, on the other hand, you cannot open a practice unless you have worked for 3 years in a teaching hospital. Now, there are different kinds of hospitals in Switzerland. They're classified as A, B, C, and things like that. Now, there are hospitals which are classified as teaching hospitals. You should have worked for 3 years in a teaching hospital in that state. They will give you a license to practice medicine in that state. So you should have worked in such a hospital for 3 years, and then you get the license. In Switzerland, it's called Berufsausübungsbewilligung. So Berufsausübungsbewilligung means a permission or a license to practice medicine in that state. And once you're given for any particular canton, it's valid throughout Switzerland. Yeah. So you should have worked at least for 3 years in that field, in that. And these days, apparently, they're making it much more strict because many doctors have been opening private practices. So I heard that Switzerland is tightening this regulation and they're issuing less and less licenses. But in Germany, it doesn't matter. You pass your final exams, you can immediately join a private practice. It doesn't matter. But in Switzerland, you cannot open a private practice for at least 3 years. Now, you have to be careful as to what kind of hospital you're working in. It has to be a teaching hospital. If you work for a year in a non-teaching hospital and then 2 years in a teaching hospital, no, you should have worked 100% You can't work 50%. If you work 50%, then it will take you 6 years to get this Berufsausübungsbewilligung. So you should have worked for 100% position for 3 years in that state for you to get this kind of a license for private practice. I hope this is clear. So the system is slightly different in Germany and Switzerland. In Germany, like I said, as soon as you finish your medical training, you can open a private practice if you have the Kaufhausitz or if you can buy into a private practice. In Switzerland, 3 years of experience in a teaching hospital. It can't be any hospital, and there are only limited teaching hospitals. So you should watch out where you're getting a position. But if you have no interest in opening a private practice, you're somebody who just wants to stay in a hospital, then you don't have to worry about any of this. I hope this is clear. Don't forget to subscribe to my videos and click the like button. If you have any questions, you can post them on my Instagram, and see you in the next video. Bye.